All right, let's talk QR codes. We use them for just about everything, right? From buying coffee to paying rent. But have you ever stopped to think about the invisible rules that are protecting your money with every single one of those scans? Well, today, we're pulling back the curtain on the official security playbook for QR payments. And you might be pretty surprised by what we find. So picture this. You're at the front of the line, coffee in hand. The cashier asks that classic question. You want to scan our code, or should I scan yours? It seems like such a tiny choice, doesn't it? Just a matter of what's easier. But what if I told you that your answer? It completely changes the security game for your transaction. Let's dive in. You see, that choice you make at the counter isn't just about convenience. No, it actually determines the fundamental type of transaction you're making. And each of those types has its own unique set of security rules that kick in. So what exactly are these two ways to pay? Okay, so on the left, we've got what's called active scan mode. You can think of this as you being the one in control, kind of like a detective. You're using your phone's camera to investigate the merchant's code. Then on the right, you have passive scan mode. This is more like you're showing your ID. You generate a code on your phone and they do the scanning. Each one triggers a totally different security protocol. But hold on, it's not just about how you scan. It's also about what's hiding inside that little black and white square. Your app has to figure out in an instant if it's looking at a simple price tag or a direct command to move your money. First up, you've got your information-only codes. The best way to think of these is like a digital price tag. The official rules are super clear on this. Scanning this kind of code doesn't actually pay for anything on its own. It's just there to show you the details, who you're paying, and how much. And here's how that's supposed to work. You scan the code, and then, and this is an absolutely crucial security step, your app must display all the transaction details for you. You get to see the merchant's name, you see the amount, and only after you give it the final green light does the payment actually happen. And then you have direct action codes. Now these are a whole different beast. They don't just contain information, they contain a direct order to your bank to send money. Because these codes have the power to move your cash instantly, you better believe the security rules for them are much, much stricter. So, what are these super important rules? Well, the people who set the standards for our financial system, they've laid out a very clear security playbook for QR code payments. This is the secret code that's running in the background every single time you scan. The first, and maybe the most important rule of all, is really simple. Less is more. It's officially called the data minimization principle. Think of it like this. When you're buying a coffee, the barista doesn't need to know your home address, right? Same idea here. The system should only ever access the absolute bare minimum of information it needs to get the job done, nothing more. Now, this next rule is a real game changer for passive mode. That's when the cashier scans your phone. That QR code that pops up on your screen, it actually has a self-destruct sequence built in. It's designed to expire in just a minute or two and can only be used one single time. It's a brilliant little trick that prevents someone from, say, snapping a photo of your code and trying to drain your account with it later. Next up, we have two core rules that are really the backbone of QR security. First, your data has to travel inside a digital armored car. That just means it has to be encrypted and protected so no one can spy on it or tamper with it. And second, the QR code you use to pay for something can't be the same kind of code you use to receive money from a friend. Keeping those separate is a simple but really powerful way to stop fraud in its tracks. But these rules, they don't just apply to the big system in the sky. They put a huge amount of responsibility right on that little app in your pocket. Your payment app isn't just a passive wallet. It's supposed to be an active, intelligent security guard. And it has a very specific job to do. In fact, before even a single penny can move from your account, your app is required by the rules to run 3 lightning-fast, mandatory security checks on any QR code it scans. These are your silent bodyguards, and they're always on duty. Okay, check number 1 is the format check. Your app instantly looks to see if the data inside the code is structured correctly. It's kind of like a bouncer at a club checking an ID just to make sure it's not some obvious, poorly made fake. This simple step is so important for stopping what's called code injection, which is basically a hacker trying to sneak malicious instructions into the QR code. The second check is for those really high-stakes direct action codes. Here, your app has to verify the code's digital signature. It's making sure the code is the real deal and that nobody has messed with the payment instructions. So it's checking for 2 things, authenticity and integrity. Is it from the right person and has it been changed? And finally, if a QR code tries to send you to a website, your app isn't supposed to just blindly follow that link. It has to check that web address against a whitelist of pre-approved, safe websites. This is the defense that stops a fake QR code from sending you to a phishing site that's just designed to steal your passwords or your credit card numbers. Okay, I know we've gone through a lot of the technical stuff here, but what does this all actually mean for you when you're just trying to pay for something? Let's boil it all down to the key takeaways. So, what do you need to remember the next time you scan? First, your choice matters. Whether you scan their code or they scan yours kicks off a whole different set of security rules. Second, your app should always give you a final chance to review the details before you pay. If it doesn't, that's a huge red flag. Third, that QR code you show the cashier, it's designed to self-destruct. And finally, just remember that your app is your silent bodyguard, running all these security checks in the background to keep you safe. So there you have it. These regulations provide a really powerful framework for security. They're the gold standard that every single payment app is supposed to be following. But that leaves one big question, right? Are the apps that you and I use every day actually living up to that standard? That's something to think about the next time you scan. Thanks for tuning in.